So I want to compare this game to Bond 60th, which we got right over here. I mean, that game does have a screen, so it's slightly different, but it is the same concept. It's a retro, very retro. They even have the scoring reels up top. It's a 2-flipper game, but it's not really a flan layout, so it's different. And then the other game that we have over here, which this is actually my game, is this Beatles, which, I don't know, maybe somebody would argue that it's not really comparable because this is a 4-flipper game. You know, got 2 flippers at the bottom, obviously, 2 flippers up top. But there's no ramp, so it kind of has that same feel, even though it does have the screen. This one's like, you know, has a lot of drop targets. But I would say between these 4 games, I kind of like feel like Pulp Fiction is in the middle as far as difficulty. I feel like the Beatles, I'm not going to say it's an easy game because the games can be fast, but it's an easier game to understand. The rules are really easy to understand. It tells you right on the playfield what you need to do. Whereas this Bond 60th, I find this game, I know a lot of people, I'm starting to see people scoring above, 10,000 points. So people are starting to figure this game out, and but it's a difficult game. It's a fast game, and a lot of stuff goes straight down the middle, at least for me. And I try and keep all my shots to the outside on this game, just for that reason. I try this hat I avoid like the plague. But unfortunately, some of your shots, like you do need to hit these drop targets and this MI6 if you really want to do something. So like, I don't know, MI6 is tough for me to shoot for because then it's really, really risky. So I find this game difficult. And to the point, it's weird because anybody can make a hard game, difficult game. You know, you can make the shots really tight. And I feel like Pulp Fiction is that kind of game too. It's not an easy game because it's really fast, and some of the shots are a little bit on the tighter side as compared to Beatles. I don't feel they're as tight. Like particularly like this out lane. Although I can hit it, these 2 out lanes feel a little tight to me. Maybe not so much this one, but this shot here feels a little bit tight to me. And coin door opened. So would I say? I would say as far as difficulty and speed of the game, the ball moves really fast on this game. It's closer to the Bond 60th than to the Beatles. However, I find this game way more fun than the Bond 60th. And here's the crazy thing is, I've never seen Brooklyn has never seen the movie. I'm going to admit that on YouTube video for all the world to know that Brooklyn has never seen Pulp Fiction. Maybe I'll watch it someday. But even though I'm not a fan, how can I be a fan of the movie? I've never seen it. You know, so I mean, I know the characters, and there's some, they've entered the characters have entered the collective consciousness. So I mean, I'm familiar with them, and I know these guys all from other movies. But yeah, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just really critiquing the game as far as the game itself. For me, I'm not so much for the profanity. There's a lot of profanity in this game that I want to see. Maybe we'll see if we can turn that off.
Say what one more goddamn time.
Yeah, there you go. So, Samuel. So there's that. But like I said, this game, I don't know. It's a lot of fun. I didn't even hit 1,000,000 on that last game, but I don't know if that was a wizard mode or not, but I got 3 different multi balls. I started the pawn shop multi ball. You knock down these 3 targets, and you got to lock 3 balls up here, and you get your jungle boogie, your Kool in the Gang playing. It's a multi ball. I got all 5 characters. You start a character here, and then it lights up each of the characters down here. So I did that, and that was just pure luck because it kept hitting these jackrabbit pop bumpers and then popping back up there, and I got all 5 of them like right in a row, which lit all of these. I believe these are the characters, because when I shot that next, it gave me a multi ball. It gave me all of those scenes, and it gave me a multi ball. So maybe those 2 are related, or maybe they're not. I don't know. But my ball too, I got all 3 multi balls and like destroyed the whole game. But then, of course, the way I play, ball 1 and ball 3 did not. In any case, it's fast. has this bottom section of the playfield's very open. It just seems to really whip around here really good. Like when it pops out of this heads up, the slings, of course, you could tone those down. We have ours set up so that they're pretty fierce. So you know these slings will pop you right into the magnets, and you're gonna be nudging this game. So that's my initial impressions of it. I really like it. It's a lot of fun. I feel like it's as fun as, you know, if you like Bond or you like the Beatles, it's just as fun as either of those, maybe more. I feel like it's weird. It's like a weird combination of being a difficult game and a fun game, which, I mean, anybody can make like I said before, anybody can make a difficult game. Making a difficult game be fun, that's an achievement. So they did well here. And this was one that I wasn't sure about really, because like when I was in Texas, they had only a couple CGC guys, but they had a lot of I don't know if that was Play Mechanics or Raw Thrills. I forget who wrote the code on this. Is it even listed on there? I don't see it. But there was like 6 or 8 of those dudes, and then the games kept going down, and they were updating code as they were showing the game, which is never a good sign to take to a show. But you know, it's playing really tight. It's really solid right now so far, and you know, the code seems to be good. The game's fun. So I'll give you another. I don't know. We'll get a bunch more games on it, and I'll let you know. Hey, Jim Cardona from Cardona Pinball Designs. Hey, I'm back with Pulp Fiction. It's another day playing the game a bunch. I kind of want to correct a few things that I had said. Oh shoot, I still got a ball. I must have earned a ball. Let me play this with a ball real quick. All right, well that didn't last too long. So a couple things. So one of the things that I was talking about when I first did the first video, but this is just was that this I had mentioned the fact that I was comparing Pulp Fiction against Bond 60th against Beatles. There it goes. And people would say, well, those games are totally different. And I think I wanted to clarify what I meant by that, which was that all three of the games, even though the games are not the same, they were all going for that retro feel, right? They were all going for that 1960s, early 1970s maybe feel. Like 1964 was the Beatles was going for that. The Bond trying to have that same feel. This one, I think they want to have that feel, but they strayed a little bit more. I guess they kind of strayed with all three of them because the addition of magnets and stuff like that. Whereas this game, they do have the up kick and the subway, which wouldn't have been on one of those older games to my knowledge anyway. But anyway, so now after I'm getting a bunch of time on this game, I have a bunch of time on the other two games from before anyway. I just wanted to give you my... So one of the things I initially said was like I felt like Bond 60th was really hard. I felt like Beatles was an easier game, and then this was somewhere in the middle. I'm starting to feel this game, this Pulp Fiction, and I feel like it's a lot easier than I kind of put it in the middle. I mean, I think Bond 60th is easier than I initially thought too, now that I'm getting more used to the game. The game is still hard. It is still challenging. This game is challenging in the fact that the ball moves really fast on the bottom half of the play field, and when you hit like, especially like the inline drops or the pawn shop drops, which those shots like so like the inline drops or inline drops over here, when you hit these inline drops or you hit the pawn shot drops, this whole area of the playfield is really open, so the ball can it's pretty fast. One of the things I really like the fact that we have this magnet here, because I think that target would be deadly without that magnet. But usually when you hit that target, it energizes that magnet, which kind of holds it. So far, only two things that I've noticed that I would say are negative, and one is if you launch. So when you launch your ball, it comes up this ramp, and you see there's like a ledge here, and then it goes, goes around, and what it's supposed to go around to these drops, unless you soft plunge it. But a lot of times I hard plunge it because I really want to do the start character saucer in the middle. And what I've seen is a lot of air balls that come off of this ramp, and the ball will get stuck in between the John Travolta character's chest and that kind of like wall right there, and there's no shaking that out. It just won't come out. So you got to pull the glass off, which that kind of sucks for location. I'm not sure exactly what you do about that. The only other thing, and this isn't really a dig on the game itself or anything, but I kind of wish that this heads up saucer, which is this eject over here, which comes like when you shoot it in the lock, goes under a subway and then it comes out there and then it ejects from there. I wish that was still a shot as well. Like if it didn't have that barrier, and that if you could hit that in there and go into that that vertical up kicker that's right there. I think that would have been a cool to add that as a shot, another shot, like a really hard shot. I think that would have been good, but it's just not part of the game. A comment that I thought would be something they would have added a little more to the game. But overall, I really like the game. It's really growing on me. If I had to compare the three, like I said before, I own the Beatles that's here is mine. The Bond 60th is, I mean, it's not for me. It's really, even if it had been in the same price point, I think like maybe I would have bought it. I'm not sure. Pulp Fiction, I've still never seen the movie. I'm a huge Beatles fan, so like if I had to pick between Pulp Fiction and Beatles, I'd still probably pick the Beatles just for that reason. Although I'm kind of really feeling now this game's really growing on me. I feel like this is the better game. Beatles. The only thing with Beatles that's been a little problematic as far as the drop targets is there's so many drop targets that it's been kind of a maintenance issue. It gets a lot of plays here, and end up having to take those apart a lot. I'm not sure how that's going to be with the CGC game, if that's going to bear out the same as a Stern game. This one only has 2 sets of drop targets, whereas the Beatles has 3. But other than that, yeah, like I'm really a fan. I'm really a fan of the game. I'm a fan of the price point of the game. I think it's fair. I think it's appropriate for what's going on now. We don't have the topper. I don't feel like we're missing a lot there. But yeah, all positives so far. And so, if I get the next game, well, maybe we'll compare another game to this if we get another older game in that same vein. But for now, I'm feeling like this out of the 3. I'm feeling like this is the winner of those 3.